Boom! We're live on YouTube and Facebook, and we are now live on Instagram. Let's get ready to rumble. We're doing an MMA discussion, but we're a little bit early. It's only 4:59. It's a very rare occurrence that we're early to the live at 5. So we're going to let everybody have a few moments to jump on here and join us in case anybody is keen to learn more about what we're doing with the MMA. Let me move this chair out from behind me. So I'm not tempted to sit down. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully dandy on this wondrous Wednesday.
Hey, Savage Fam.
What's up? What's up? We haven't figured out how to work the AC in this room, so it's hot in here. I was sweating on my last podcast.
It's definitely hot in here.
A little toasty. Anyways, we've got Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com in the building, and we got Crystal
Sykes.
You're supposed to say it?
Crystal Sykes, LadySavage.com.
Boom. All right, so let's talk about MMA training. As you may or may not recall, we have changed our training split such that we have 5 days a week of resistance training. Monday is chest, Tuesday is arms, Wednesday is an off day, Thursday is back. Wow, we got back tomorrow. Friday is shoulders, and Saturday or Sunday is legs. Saturday or Sunday that's not legs is an off day, and then Wednesday was an off day, but we've changed that to become an MMA training day. So today, for instance, which is Wednesday, we had the whole crew plus Lane's buddy, Harley. Was there anybody else? Or just that? So 9 people all doing MMA work. We did a bunch of kicking technique. We did side kicks, we did front kicks, and we did round kicks. And then we've been working on our jabs, crosses, and hooks. We've also been incorporating some defensive work, some dodging and whatnot. It's freaking intense, kicking my butt.
It is intense. It's fun, though.
It is fun. I think it's like MMA, martial arts, all that stuff. It's like an art form. Like I'm really excited to do jujitsu because it's like an art form. It's like chess. It's not just physical prowess. You have to be strategic. You have to know technique. You have to have the conditioning, and you have to, be in a tango with your opponent. With bodybuilding, so like sports are, when I think of sports, I've got team sports. That's when like baseball, football, soccer, all that stuff, team sports. I'm not usually a huge fan of team sports. I like individual sports like bodybuilding, in which it's pretty much me against me. And then for that few moments on stage, I'm up against competitors. I like that a lot because then it's always my fault, win or lose. And then there's combative sports like MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, and things like that, in which it's you against one other opponent, basically in a battle of wits, which I also really, really like because it's, at the end of the day, again, it's me against me, basically. It's me against them, but if I fail to beat them, it's because I didn't put in enough work. So I'm really digging that aspect of the MMA stuff. And there's just so much technique to it. It's truly chess. And I don't think it will distract from the bodybuilding endeavors because we're only doing it a few times a week. And most of our training is still all intact. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's totally fine. We placed it in an off day. Or what would be a rest day or an off day or whatever. So I think that's totally fine. And then sometimes after our workouts, the guys will hit the bag a little bit and get in a little bit more practice. And I think that's totally, it's fun. It gets you in the practice that you need. And it's been enjoyable to learn the techniques and things like that. And just have that in your back pocket.
I like it. All right, let's dive into some of these questions here. We got Kevin. He says, I train chest Sunday, legs Monday, back on Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, shoulders, Friday, arms, off Saturday. What do you think about that schedule? That's totally fine. I mean, the thing about training splits is like, it's more so a matter of what do you think of that schedule? Like if it works well with your schedule, if you're able to get plenty of recovery, and you're able to get plenty of, like if you're going into the workout recovered enough to hit that muscle group hard and implement some progressive overload, train at a heavier weights higher intensity than you did the previous time, then it's a good split.
My only thing I would say about that workout is that you have legs on Monday and back on Tuesday. If you're doing like heavy squats, heavy sumo deadlifts, things like that, your back's probably going to be a little bit worn out by the time you get to back day, just because you will use some of your back for those movements. So what you could do is maybe switch it with your shoulder, switch back out with your shoulders and do shoulders on Tuesday and do back on Thursday after you've had a rest day. And then that'll give you 2 days between legs and back. But really your split's totally fine, but you might be able to lift a little heavier on deadlifts or rack pulls if you give your body a little bit of a break there.
Shannon says, I've been liking CrossFit. Keep it up, Shannon.
Yo Savage is a little bummed that I pulled my hammy pretty bad playing soccer. Oh no, that's awful.
That's not good.
What's up? How are my favorite savages?
What's up?
Hey.
Triple G Auto Detailing says, love the MMA training idea. I always thought Crystal looked like a Ronda Rousey, better looking.
That's really funny.
Yeah, Crystal, we were sparring today, and Crystal's pretty cute because one of the drills was I would jab, and then I would cross, and then she would jab, I would duck, and then I would cross, and then we would switch. And then it was my turn. So she would punch me, I would block, she would cross, and then I'd block, and then I would go to jab, or I would go to jab her. And before I would even go to jab her, she's already like... So
okay, you guys, I wouldn't have done that if I was training with anyone else, but Robert goes ham on it. We're supposed to be like just getting the drills down, not hitting each other, and Robert's over here hitting hard. So of course I'm going to be a little nervous.
No, baby, I don't hit you hard.
Crystal, you are looking super pretty. You're beautiful regardless, but today you're really looking on point. That's so sweet.
So sweet. What about me? How am I looking today?
Dylan said, I love it. I want to spar with Robert. Please do take my partner.
Come on, Shamlin.
Must be pretty big tents.
Pretty big tents. Not really sure the tents.
Neither.
Intense, maybe.
Oh. Have you used Cali sticks?
I have not even heard of Cali sticks. What are Cali sticks? Is that like some type of MMA thing?
It's a great conditioning. Yes, totally great conditioning.
Do you do any MMA stuff, Greg? Let me know, man. We do some of that when you're in town.
MMA is great for mind-focused development. Totally agree.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Chip, the guy that works here, has been kind of training us. He's like, you just got to slow down, focus on accuracy, focus on, just flow. And I totally get that. I totally agree with him. I don't mean to be like a powerhouse to the point where my form suffers. But at the same time, I feel like if I don't have enough power, it's not realistic at all. And it would just throw me off if it was ever unrealistic.
Robert is just like, he is all in or nothing kind of guy. He just like goes for it. He's not going to try it. I'm very much like, show me the tech, show it to me, break it down for me. Let me try it. Let me try it soft. And then I can go after it. And Robert's like, cool, here we go.
Give it to me. I like the pain.
Robert, you look very handsome as well.
He did some kickboxing. I think scroll up.
No, I didn't miss one.
You didn't miss one?
It's like a fit Barbie and Ken.
Fit Barbie and Ken.
Okay, maybe I did miss one.
Yes,
have done some kickboxing. Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, how often do you get your blood checked for cholesterol and vitamin levels?
I should do it every 6 months, but I often don't do it for like a year and a half at a time. Whenever I'm in a prep, I'm really conscious about that, and I do it at the beginning of a prep, usually about halfway through a prep, and then at the end of the prep, and then again at the end of the reverse. But since I'm not in a prep right now, I'm a lot more lax with that. And like cholesterol numbers, like it's really important to test these numbers and get these lipid panels, but also to realize that you can have, depending on what you eat the day before you test, even with a 12-hour fasting window, is going to greatly dictate what those numbers come back at. And Dave Feldman's illustrated this time and time again. So like, I wouldn't want anybody to think that like a single point in time from a lipid panel on a blood test is going to be the end all be all.
I do also want to mention that we are pretty young, and I do think that everyone should be getting their labs young. I had a doctor tell my sister that they weren't going to run labs because she was not old enough. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. However, when you are young and you know you're taking care of your body, you know you're eating well, you don't have to get it done every 6 months. You don't have to get it done every year. You can get it done every 2 to 3 years just to keep yourself in check. I think people expect that Robert and I are just going to get our labs done a lot, but we don't go to a doctor on a regular basis. So when we do that, we do have to go into, like a lab place and pay out of pocket and things like that. So we may not do it as frequently as people expect us to, but also the only reason we would get it done is to confirm to people that we're healthy, because we know we are, and we know that we're doing the right things. So really, it's just to prove to the public, I guess, who are curious.
Your thoughts on burning adipose fat, most effective method. Most effective method to building more adipose tissue, or to losing more adipose tissue, so body fat, is to build more muscle. I mean, the more lean tissue you have, the higher function your metabolic rate's going to be, the more calories you can consume without adverse effects. Weight training is going to be more effective than just pure cardio conditioning. You're going to burn more calories with weight training than you would with cardio, like a low intensity steady state cardio. So the weight training is going to be your best bet for sure.
Get those BJJ mats. I want to roll with you soon.
Hey man, we're all about it. I got the ones picked out, those zebra mats, 2 inches. I just had to pull a trigger on them still.
Callie is a part of MMA. I'm so hoping I'm saying it right. It's with a Kali.
I don't know. I'm
Callie.
I'm gonna Google Cali MMA.
Your thoughts on? Oh yeah. Are you zero carb?
Not zero, but pretty much.
No one is zero carbs. There's carbs in meat.
Yeah.
But no, we're not really. I mean, we do eat the keto bricks, and we do eat some vegetables here and there.
We're
so
like 15 to 20 total.
Yeah.
Sometimes as low as 10 total, depending on the goal.
What % of fat do you use?
It kind of just depends where I'm at in a cutting or building phase. In a building phase at a surplus, I'm more or less around a 1-to-1 ratio of protein grams to fat grams, which winds up being pretty close to about a 70% of my calories coming from fat.
Thank you. Good info. Do you use dairy? Yes, we both eat dairy.
We don't have any dairy intolerances, so we definitely incorporate dairy. There are people that do have dairy intolerances, and they would not want to use dairy.
Mm-hmm.
By golly. Good questions, though. It is super hot in here, baby.
It is really hot.
We have to figure out this air conditioning situation because this is just not cool. We're sweating as we're podcasting, or as we're live at 5.
Podcasting.
Live at 5. We got any more questions, y'all?
No,
Bring
we
on
don't
the
have any
questions.
questions.
Bring on the questions. Had a really good podcast today with Sonia Hunt, a TEDx speaker, and we talked all about food sensitivities, food allergies. That one will be going live in about 2 weeks, a week and a half, something like that. So I'm excited about that. We've got our podcast that we're going to record tomorrow, which has got the big surprising news that nobody knows about. So it'll be good. What's up?
You're a child.
Yeah. What's that? Sunny said something.
Crystal's making it hot in there.
It's definitely hot in here, y'all. We may have
Yeah,
to do a
it
shorter
is
live at
definitely
5.
hot in
It's
here.
like 78 degrees according to that.
Yeah.
According to that thermostat.
Mm-hmm.
We did that low carb hustle podcast recording today,
Yeah.
and one of the questions on there was, what was your first CD purchased? Remember what your first CD purchase was?
I think it was Shania Twain.
Shania Twain.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm embarrassed to admit what my first CD purchase was.
No.
Guess.
I have no
I was
idea.
born in 91. What was the music that was always playing in the roller rinks when that was the thing to do in the 90s?
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys.
Oh no! That you like the Backstreet Boys?
No, I didn't. I didn't like
You just
them.
bought their CD.
Yeah, that's what I thought I had to do to be cool.
Any muscle pain relief creams, meds. My DOMS is ridiculous. Don't take medicine.
Yeah, don't take. So here's the thing. DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, occurs when you don't weight train and then you do a lot of weight training and then you have this really acute, intense muscle soreness. like central nervous system soreness as a result of that newfound stimulus. However, if it's a hormetic effect. So basically that means as you subject your body to that stimulus, your body adapts to it and grows accordingly to that response or in response. If you take a bunch of pain meds, you're going to shunt that hormetic effect of the training stimulus. The best thing you can do is continue to train. Like, don't overtrain, but overtraining is over the hype. Like, it's not easy to overtrain. So just get back in the gym and your body will acclimate to that intensity, acclimate to that training, and you won't be nearly as sore as you do it more and more.
Do you find that cheese is addictive? I do not think that cheese as an item is addictive. I believe that if you have an eating disorder, it is likely that that food is easy to eat, that you can want it more, and it is very heavy in calories. When I have suffered with my eating disorders, cheese was something that I had to cut out because I wanted more and more and more of it. But now that I've really recovered from those, I have no issue with cheese. I mean, I love it, but I can go weeks without having it and then have it one time. So if that is something that is a trigger or an issue for you, then I would recommend you cut it out and try to work through that.
You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. How much fairly do you guys eat cream cheese and yogurt? And it was dairy. So how much dairy do we eat?
We have heavy cream in our coffee.
Yeah, heavy cream in our coffee. Not a whole lot, probably like 4 tablespoons a day of heavy cream in our coffee. Plus
maybe like a meal with cheese in it. But we used to do yogurt every night, but we kind of like moved on from that here recently. So really, I think it's just the heavy cream, and then maybe some days we'll have some cheese in a meal, but we don't really have cream cheese on hand or sour cream or any of that stuff.
Have you ever used the Lumen? I actually had the Lumen. They sent it to me, but I haven't used it. I need to give it a shot.
Oh, there was also another thing. When someone was asking about the cream to use for the DOMs, I have not personally used it, but it's very similar to like a Tiger Balm or whatever. But Kevin was using, I think, wasn't it doTERRA? And it's essential oils cream type of thing that it's like a muscle relaxant, but it's not doesn't have a bunch of chemicals and junk in it that like the Icy Hot and stuff does.
Michael says, been caffeine free for a month. Enjoyed a cup today with a rush. Glad I stopped. Will enjoy caffeine perhaps once a week moving forward. Yeah, not being dependent upon caffeine is a good thing. I have cut my caffeine intake drastically, and I feel like it's low enough now that if I was to cut it completely, certainly wouldn't be the end of the world, but I do like my coffee.
Someone says cheese can be a trigger similar to sweetener alternatives. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Like if that is a trigger for you, then you need to watch yourself and you need to be aware of it and remove it from your life at that moment. But then if you are someone who has recovered from that, or it's no longer a trigger, then you can kind of place it back into your routine.
Starlight, have you checked out the Ninja Creamy yet?
No.
We have not yet, but I haven't forgotten yet. That is still on our to-do list for sure.
Doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday workouts, so definitely continuing to work out.
Nice.
Have you seen unexplained edema associated with limiting carbs and just eating protein and fat?
Yeah, you're not going to have near as much edema if you don't have the carbs, because carbohydrate, especially, I don't know where you're at in your fat adaptation process, but if you're not yet fat adapted and you have a whole bunch of glycogen retention as a result of carbohydrate consumption, you cut out the carbohydrates, you flush out the glycogen, you flush out the water that glycogen holds. So you're going to hold much less fluid in your lower extremities. Once you become fat adapted, your body is able to replenish the muscle glycogen just as efficiently in the absence of carbohydrates. But if your electrolytes are dialed in properly, you're not going to have near as much fluid retention in your lower extremities.
What kind of cream cheese do you guys recommend? There is a kind that I get that's from Whole Foods, or I'm sure you can get it at natural grocers and things like that, really, I just look for the same thing I look for, like when I look at dairy, like, a cream or something like that. I look for an organic. I look for no added sugar. The best options that you can possibly get. But I don't know of a particular brand, actually. I don't remember what brand that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Deep Blue.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What?
The doTERRA
What is?
you're referring to is called Deep Blue.
Yes, the doTERRA thing is Deep Blue. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
How much electrolyte would you recommend? Everyone's going to be a little bit different. I mean, I could have a whole live on electrolytes alone. The thing is, you want to have the right ratio of sodium to potassium. There is some potassium in the foods you eat. There's some magnesium in the foods you eat. Generally speaking, people operate on a low-carb ketogenic diet fairly well to a 2-to-1 ratio of sodium to supplemental potassium. So not counting the potassium in your food, but the potassium you supplement. So for instance, if you take in 4 grams of sodium a day, then you're going to want to try and shoot for about 2 grams of supplemental potassium to get that 2-to-1 ratio of your electrolytes more or less equalized. And then from there, you can titrate either or up or down, depending on how your body responds.
Lidocaine patches or cream, okay? ? I would not use lidocaine. I choose to not use any sort of medication, even if it's a topical thing, as best as I can. That's why I suggested that doTERRA, the Deep Blue, because it is much more natural. And really, if you're experiencing DOMS or muscle soreness, you want to be able to feel that, because then you will know, I really need to stretch this area. I really need to foam roll this. I really need to, massage this area, maybe soak it in an Epsom salt bath. That pain is because you are tearing your muscle fibers. They're rebuilding. So take care of it, but DOMS should not be to the point where you need to mask it with a medication or some sort of numbing agent. Use the best, most natural options that you possibly can. And yeah, go ahead. What?
Messed it up. That was it. I feel like something.
I feel like I don't need as much food as most people are saying to eat. How do you adjust so you still meet your dietary needs? Sometimes I barely eat 1,200 calories, but totally satisfied. That is a downregulation of your metabolism and possibly some of your hormones. And what I would suggest doing is increasing your calories, eating the same amount of calories every single day for a week, and then increasing about 75 or 100 calories per week, and then doing that for a week, and then again increasing 75 to 100 calories per week and keeping that for a week, and that will really help your body, your stomach, everything adjust to eating more. And I'll bet you begin to actually become more hungry the more you eat. You'll get a couple hundred calories up, and you'll be like, I feel like I'm so hungry. I could eat so much more than what I'm eating now. It is so surprising to most people, but the people who are eating 1,000, 1,200 calories are the majority of people who come to work with Robert and I. And we keep increasing their calories weekly, and they get so shocked that they end up getting hungrier with eating more food. They're like 18, 19, 2,000 calories. Sure. It is, but I bet you'll become hungry if you consistently eat more every single week. My wife rearranged the labels on my spice rack. Haven't confronted her yet, but the time is human.
It's funny.
The time is coming. Is that what he meant? That was really funny.
Yeah, you
I didn't get that at first. Wow. That was funny. It was pretty good. Can you better explain stearic acid? Does salmon have a lot of it compared to poultry or beef?
So in animal products, the best source is going to be beef suet. Cacao butter has more stearic acid than beef suet, but beef suet is a really good source of it. Basically, stearic acid is an 18 carbon bond fatty acid. So it's a saturated fat. It absorbs and digests a little bit more slowly. It absorbs a bit more differently than like a lauric acid or something like that. It's not going to be nearly as inflammatory as something like a linoleic acid, like a polyunsaturated, vegetable oil or something of that nature. It's what the bricks are made of with that cacao butter. There's been a lot of research about stearic acid causing the actual fat cell, the adipocyte itself, to become insulin resistant. So basically making the fat cell less likely to retain more fat tissue, which would be an advantageous form of insulin resistance. The research is still up in the air on that, but that's kind of where things are looking currently.
Epsom salt's okay for soreness. Yes, absolutely.
There's one on Epsom salt here too. Epsom salt bath is great for DOMs or any kind of muscle strain. The magnesium is absorbed through your skin and is great for recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys eat something sweet for a snack? Maybe dark chocolate or low-carb cheesecake? I still can't shake off that urge to have something sweet after a meal. 100% dark chocolate is super bitter, but that's pretty much all we ever really need.
Yeah, we definitely don't need a whole bunch of sweets. Every once in a while, I'll want something, so I'll make a batch of cookies, or, we'll get a chocolate from the grocery store or something like that, but nothing that is absolutely necessary to have all the time.
Oops.
Just stop doing that.
My nose is running.
All right.
We missed one.
Okay, slowly increasing is what I thought. Thank you.
Yep.
Do you ever use whey protein?
Not really. I mean, we don't really ever. If you're
We
eating,
do it in the bricks.
Yeah, I mean, there's some in the bricks. There's depending on the flavor. Sometimes we'll put some in yogurt if we want to mix up the flavor of the yogurt. If we just have a plain yogurt, but we don't really do a lot of protein powders.
Someone was asking, when you do the slow increase, would you gain weight when you do that, or would your metabolism adapt and you could actually lose weight? That is generally what happens, is people actually end up increasing their calories and they do end up losing weight.
That's
However,
not generally what happens.
I would say with the majority of my clients, that is exactly what happens.
It can happen, but I mean, it just depends if you're in a caloric surplus or deficit all in all. Like if you start increasing calories, most people are going to increase in weight. Some of that ideally is more so muscle mass as opposed to fat tissue. Now, if you're truly jacked up and like your body's holding on to a bunch of fluids from stress and anxiety, all that retention, then yeah, you might see a drop in fat loss, or a drop in fat loss. But I wouldn't say if you're chronically under eating, you start increasing calories, expect to lose a whole bunch.
I would never say to expect it, but I would say that a large majority of my clients do end up losing weight, and it might take a little while, but they do end up losing weight as we increase. Or they maintain about the same. I always ask for about a 4 to 5 pound fluctuation, so that they don't get upset if they do happen to gain about 4 or 5 pounds with the increase. It is absolutely necessary. Your body is asking for it, and then after you have increased for a little while, and if you feel like you need to lose more weight, then you can go into a cutting cycle, which reverses you back up to being where you are in higher calorie. It is not to cut you down and keep you low. It is to where you can reverse back up as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to call it quits here and head to a meeting. What we got there?
Do you have any videos showing what you both eat in a typical day? Do you tend to eat the same things daily? We do tend to eat the same things daily.
But I mean, we mix it up as we're craving things different for sure.
I put a lot of my food on Instagram, on my personal feed, so you can see a lot of that. And I would say most dinners, Robert and I eat about the same. But yeah, we do definitely have some videos up on our YouTube of like a day of eating, so on and so forth.
Bada bing, bada boom.
That is it. Let's call it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we love you. Take care. Toodaloo. Ta-ta for now. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Adios.
See ya. Yeah.